And as usual, we are recording for posting on the Community Access channel. First order of business is a couple things related to minutes. The first, which was sent out to you, was a revision to the September 9th, 2025 minutes. And this was regarding our vote on the construction manager at risk. And it just was tightening up the wording that we have to report to MSBA, and specifically by referencing Chapter 149A. So that revision was highlighted in the revised copy that was sent out to you, dated 10/16/25. So if you're so inclined, I'd entertain a motion to accept those revised minutes.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So voted, thank you. And then second, the regular meeting minutes from our last meeting on October 7th, previously distributed.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? So voted, thank you. Mitch, Sean?
All right, good evening, everybody. Just starting off with the project financial update with some invoices. So we have two invoices from HMFH, 4548 and 4549. The first one is for their basic services, $58,666.66. And the second one was for the added services for $7,750. And we put on our end, and we sent those over to the town, and Kathy should have those now.
We do, and we signed off on them
Okay.
and returned them. They're fine.
Perfect.
All right, thank you for that update. I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial update.
Move. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? So voted, thank you.
James.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the MSBA schematic design submittal, and at the end of this meeting, towards the end of this meeting, there'll be a vote to whether or not to submit that to the MSBA. So starting with our work plan, today's our last schematic design phase meeting, again with that big vote. But I do want to just sort of remind everyone of where we've been. About 14 months ago, we came on board. There have been a number of meetings and a number of phases since, and a number of decisions and votes along the way. Starting in August of 2024 with the preliminary design program, which included votes on site selection, votes on enrollment options, and reducing this vote specifically. The second one was to reduce the number of enrollment options that we were looking at that time to pre-K through 6 and pre-K through 4. And then there was the vote to submit the PDP to the MSBA. Then we went into preferred schematic report, PSR phase, also part of the feasibility study, for another 4 months. The big vote at the end of that one was on the preferred schematic option, and that was, as you all know, what we were then calling 17 prime C, which was K to 6 on the Roselle site. K to 6 on the Roselle site. I think that's essentially what it was. That took us into schematic design. You also voted to submit to the MSBA. That took us into schematic design, and at the last, and then there have been a few votes related to that. The vote on September 9th, circled here, for GC versus CMR, so 149A, construction manager at risk, was the decision. Last meeting's vote was on the budget, to approve the maximum not to exceed budget, and then tonight, here we are. So it's been a long road. We've gotten a lot done. You've made a lot of decisions. And tonight is kind of the culmination of that as we move towards the town-wide vote. So, so the submission that we will be making to the MSBA includes a number of pieces. It includes the submission to DESE, the Department of Early and Secondary Education. Do I got that right? Those of you who know better than me. I got that right, right? Yeah. And that is related specifically elementary and secondary education. Thank you. That is primarily related to the special education program. They, like we've talked about a lot, they approve your program spaces for special education. The MSBA does not. Assuming that DESE will accept that, and usually they do, the MSBA will reimburse for the full amount of the special education spaces. The second piece of the submission is what's called the schematic design binder, and it has a whole ton of information. I'll go in more detail in a minute. And then there's the project manual and the project design drawings, which we talked about 2 weeks ago. So I'm not going to go into any detail related to those. Both of those things were the things I was talking about 2 weeks ago. So the DESE submission, again, related specifically to special education. It's made up of a few pieces, 5 pieces. The key to it is a letter from the district related to delivery methodology for special education. It describes the spaces and the educational process and how that is dispersed throughout the school. There's the floor plans, which you see here. Well, there's the space summary, which you guys have kind of seen, not kind of, you've seen throughout the process. That is where we're listing every space within the building, totaling its square footages. We've gotten it to the point where, it took most of the 14 months to get here, but where we are, as you know, is every net square foot is reimbursable by the MSBA.
James, just a question on DESE, clarification. So they do a separate standalone review from the MSBA.
Correct.
And it's understood that that review would be completed and submitted to the MSBA prior to the MSBA board meeting in December.
I believe that's accurate. Can you confirm?
Submitted to the MSBA.
That the DESE will have signed off on
Before it comes back to us for approval, before the board meeting.
Before the board meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
The MSBA does that interaction with DESE.
Right, we submit the DESE submission to the MSBA and they submit it to DESE.
Is there a possibility that they will have comments that would require feedback from us or the district between the time their review is completed and the MSBA board meeting?
I believe that there is a possibility that there will be comments that require, but the responses will often be, the responses that I've seen are, moving a door or very minor things, and things that the response is usually that'll be addressed in the next submission. And what would happen is in our DD submission, we would submit another DESE submission. But in terms of again, I think I've said this before, I haven't seen any challenges to space inclusion.
Okay, thank you.
The next piece of that submission is the floor plans. You're seeing the DESE submission floor plan for the first floor on the screen. You highlight the special education spaces and you give them a key. This is their system and very important. You give them a key. You can see it up here. This is 1A and it continues through 1B, 1C. Those tie in to the special education adjacency table. This is a document formatted by them. This is what they're looking for. It compares what we have to what the it lists every space. If there's 19, which there is, small group rooms, it lists small group rooms 19 times, each with their own key. This one's 1A, but the next one's 1D. And it compares the square footage from what the MSBA guideline has to what DESI, to what our program has. So the MSBA guideline square footage is here, the proposed square footage is here, that key, that 1A, 1B is here, name of the room if it's in MSBA's guideline. Most of them are not unique to the district. And then the big piece of information is the column to the right, which includes a description of what happens in that room and, importantly, what it should be adjacent to, how it's located within the building, other spaces that it wants to be near. That's the DESI submission. The schematic design binder is made up of a lot of information, and that's fed some things that we've provided, some things that PMA has provided. Yes.
I just have a question. So,
Yeah, of course.
when you were doing the special education, you've got the breakdown and the description of what's in every room, what they're used for and
Yeah.
whatnot. No, and then go back to the next screen, sorry, where you were.
Oh, sorry.
In the binder. So you've got the final design program. Do you have to do that breakdown with every room? Or is that just a special education?
That is really just special education.
Yeah, no, so then I have a question. I just wanted to revisit something really quick from
Sure.
the previous meeting. I apologize. The bathrooms on the first floor, I know we all decided that they would be gendered and whatnot. Is it possible to take a vote to just kind of lock that in? Because I noticed those bathrooms don't have urinals for boys. So I know that at some point it could be, we're not going to have them, or they won't be gendered. So is it possible to take a vote to make sure that they have urinals and they are labeled gendered? Or I'd like to make a motion, rather, that those bathrooms, the boys' bathrooms, have urinals, and that the bathrooms are gendered per our last meeting when we did
Sure.
agree to that.
Sure, that's fine. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion, further discussion on that?
Is that the kind of decision that we make at this point typically?
Not usually, but it would be something that could be handled at design development. But I understand because of the nature of the discussion that occurred. Now, this is the third meeting we've talked about it. I have no problem with formalizing that. I mean, it won't necessarily change anything for the schematic design, but it would solidify our decision moving into the design development to make sure that change happens.
I thought did we vote that the bathrooms were going to be gendered?
We didn't
No.
vote. No.
So they would just,
It was
the
never,
plan-
it was presented as an option to us originally at that presentation. There was discussion primarily with the staff about some of the concerns with that design, pros and cons, I should say. And then the design team decided to go back and just go back to the traditional design. And that was what we communicated at the last meeting. But there were no votes originally. There was no follow-up vote to change a vote that wasn't taken. So this is the first time a vote has been called for.
so the way it stands now is there would be a girls' room and a boys' room.
The way it stands now is it's a girls' room and a boys' room, each with 2 toilets, regular toilets, in 2 stalls, and a single-user student toilet and a single-user staff toilet. I think the primary reason that there's not a urinal in there, just a moment.
Oh, of course, yeah, no, I'm just.
The primary reason that there's not a urinal in there is, again, because there's only 2 toilets. And absolutely, we can make one of them a urinal, but when there's only 2 toilets, often what you'll see is toilets. So that's the reason that it is what it is at the moment.
Mary?
From an administrative perspective, I like the idea of the single stall bathrooms, just because the image that you sent out of like the hallway with the doors, from a supervision perspective, for a lot of different reasons, I like that. I'm wondering if we might revisit that idea. To me, it doesn't matter if they're gendered or not. I'm happy to put boys, girls on the doors, but in that sort of open format. I don't know if that's getting too deep into the weeds or not, but I wanted to put it out there that the thing that appealed to me about that layout had to do with supervision.
I mean, we've got the motion on the table, strictly limited to the,
Well, so it not so much, like, what I like is the fact that I'm picturing something that was sent out. There was like, here's the hallway, and then there's half a wall here dividing a hallway, and there's sinks, but this is all open. And then on this wall, there were 4 doors, the toilet rooms.
Okay.
And to me, what that reduces is what's happening now in my bathrooms, where kids go in and play in the soap and play in the water and throw things around and make spills and do all of these things. And I can't, it's a safety issue, it's just a general behavior issue. They can't do that if they have to come out and wash their hands where everybody can see them.
Marcy, the essence of your motion is to ensure gender-identified restrooms,
Yes, to lock that in.
to lock that in.
Yep.
I think that's fine for this stage. I think once we reach design development, we can revisit the whole concept and hash that out, fully at that point. I'm okay with taking the motion to lock in that decision and then move on, because it doesn't affect, that alone doesn't affect anything that we're planning to submit at this point in time.
If I can just add, just for clarity purposes, kind of what Mary was referring to, the one design option we talked about was 4 or individual toilet rooms, and where this is more like we have here at the middle senior high school with an airport style where, girls one way, boys the other, but they're not toilet rooms. There's toilets with a partition, basically.
And let me just ask this one question, though. Is there a design philosophy difference between urinal and toilet for boys K through 3 versus 4 through 6?
I don't think so.
All right.
I mean, I can speak for the lower students. The use of urinals, a lot of the children don't know how to use them appropriately, whether they were never taught that or what have you. So they're often, we've had to close them down.
That
because
stays
students are
throughout
using
life,
them
by the way.
Appropriately.
All right, unless anybody has any new information, I'll call for that vote. All those in favor of,
And
sorry.
What exactly are we voting on
Yeah.
again?
We're
Sorry.
just locking in the decision of gender designated bathrooms.
And we,
Not all,
I'm sorry?
but not all, but having boys' room, girls' room, and a neutral.
Yes, right.
and those boys and girls, I thought maybe I missed something, but I thought they were we abandoned the individual toilet rooms.
That's what we talked about at the last meeting, yes.
Sorry.
Is that not the plumbing code? Boys, girls, gender?
Not anymore.
Yeah, it got
The
changed.
plumbing code has been changed for specifically the layout that we were showing 2 meetings ago.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
No.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to call for a count, please. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Debbie,
Sorry.
good? Debbie's our official counter.
Not that good. The 14. Did you count?
Okay?
Somebody counting?
Yes, Debbie.
I don't know. Did you get?
She can't see everything.
Yeah, she can't see.
All right, one more time. All those in favor? Put
Nice
them up high.
try.
Put them up high.
50. Now I got 50.
15.
15.
All those opposed? Debbie, the tally, please?
15 in favor, 6 opposed.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sorry.
No, don't be
Proceed.
sorry. That's your job here, right? So moving off of the DESI submission onto the schematic binder. Again, this is made up of a lot of pieces from our engineers, people from our, pieces from our traffic consultant, descriptions of the building and the concepts, permitting descriptions for future permitting, a massing study made up of pictures of the model that you've seen, and the axiometric drawings that you've seen, building systems, and then the thing I'm going to focus on tonight is the room data sheet. So these are pieces of this submission. They take not each room, but most of the typical educational spaces, and they describe them in some detail. So there's a plan. This is a kindergarten classroom. There's a plan showing the general layout with furniture, and then a description of how many students, how many of these rooms are there, how big are they, what are the materials on the floor, what are the materials on the wall, the ceilings, any special equipment, as well as some systems, what kind of mechanical, lighting, electrical, those sorts of things, security, and then a description of the furniture and equipment. So these are all, there's more than what I'm showing here today. These are all in the submission that was distributed on Friday. But they've got the general classrooms. MSBA requires 2 sinks, so you'll notice that each of these have 2 sinks. Furniture layout, teaching wall, teacher area, art classroom, music classroom. It's all with all of this information associated with each space. Gymnasium. Any questions on that or on anything within the MSBA submission that was distributed on Friday? It's a big document, so I know there's a lot to look through.
I have a quick one, maybe we can do it. The piece that goes in from the traffic analysis, has that been updated since the one we had gotten before? Or is that the same that we had seen? Traffic analysis the same as we already had?
It's the same traffic analysis.
Okay, they hadn't looked at it. Okay.
Yeah.
There were some comments.
They sent around some numbers, they have not updated it with the further information that we provided, which was primarily, there were counts for Howard, existing traffic counts for Howard, and there were some more time information about, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think it had to do with how much time it would take people turning left and turning right. If I remember correctly. But they've not updated it with that further information. I can have that done before the submission if that's...
Well, I was just curious. I know there was some things that were hanging out there, and we hadn't sent it back yet. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. There's ability to update it with that information in the next...
The stuff that we presented at the meeting after.
Yeah,
right. We can have that updated. We can do that tomorrow.
Good point. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on MSBA submission?
So this is a slide that we just wanted to share to show where this school and the cost of the school stacks up against other projects that we've done and the MSB has done. So The chart in the background is on the MSBA's website. Anyone can access it. You can go through historically all of the projects that the MSBA has done since 2009 and see what the cost is. We have a trend line that we added here to show roughly how construction costs have been increasing over the years, and we plot our projects on here to show where they sit in relation to that trend line. And really, it's just to point out that the building cost is what it is because of the square footage of the building, and that's what it costs to build schools, not because there's anything really fancy about it. There's no really high-end finishes or anything like that. We're certainly below the trend line and well below it. There's a lot of schools that are a lot more expensive. So we just wanted to put it in perspective to show what other schools are being built for and why the cost is what it is.
This chart was added just today, so it was not part of the presentation that was sent out previously, but we will send it out to you so you have it.
It's hard to see, so the trend line is the dotted line?
Yeah,
Yes.
could somebody
And
just
where
walk
are
us
we?
through the actual
Yeah.
key points
Oh, sorry.
on
So the
this?
trend line's the dotted line on the right-hand side, and
Yeah.
we're the yellow highlighted
Okay.
in the dot right above it.
And what are
800.
the numbers?
So this is construction cost per square foot.
Thank you.
And then this is the years of the projects.
Oh, I see.
The anticipated construction start
Got
date.
it, okay.
So we're up there at $875 a square foot.
Mitch, sorry, could you just show that for this side of the room too?
Sorry, wasn't blocking everybody.
Yes.
So we got the trend line going up here. Down below is the years of the projects, and then over here is the cost per square foot. The current projection is like $875 a square foot for West Bridgewater, which is right here, below the trend line.
What would the trend line be for that date?
It looks like if you go right up around $1,000 a square foot.
Yep, 1,000.
But that trend is projecting out from older data from the MSBA.
Yeah.
So, we're just aggregating all the projects. Some are more expensive, some are less expensive. We try to do our best just to give an average. And you can also see there's a green line on there, which is the MSBA's cost cap per square foot. They're currently capping at $645 a square foot with site work included, and it jumps up. It's not even every year, but as of late, it's been going up. Whenever they vote, they'll put more money there, but they know that their cost cap does not cover what it costs to build a building. They're a grant program, and they're going to give you money to fund the project and help towns, but they take the money that they have and they spread it out, and I think that they understand that it's not going to pay for the total cost of the building, and it never really has.
Those are, well, interestingly, not exactly never, right? Because if you go back to 2010, the orange and the green are together. But since then,
Since then,
they absolutely have not. And then we've talked a lot about that those two lines are getting further and further apart as construction costs increase and MSBA reimbursement does not catch up. They've made some real efforts in the last 5 years. You see some bigger jumps. But that is one of the things we've talked a lot about is those two lines diverging in terms of how much of the cost per square foot the MSBA will reimburse for.
The cost, the cost per square foot for this building, do you remember?
The high school building, I don't think it was $46 million. Does that sound right?
It's
Well, the cost, the square
budget
footage
was-
cost.
I want to say it's 347. I just looked at it a little while ago.
I thought it was in the
But
300s.
don't.
And that was 2000.
I'm not positive.
That was 2014, so that's all the way around here. I think
It's this dot right there.
Right there, overlapped with another dot.
So the difference between the estimated and the actual cost, more than $650 more per square foot to build a building 10 years later.
And you can see it. I mean, you can see the orange line. You were on the orange line. Now I forgot where I was pointing. You were on the orange line, almost exactly.
At PFA bid amendment, it was $328 per square foot.
Okay, thank you. And
That was
you can see where the
July
orange
20.
line is
12.
and where it's going. I mean, there should be an arrow at the end of this, right?
Should be.
So, Gary, can I ask that?
David.
So the dotted trend line represents the projected square foot increase going forward, because obviously it's...
The projected cost per square foot moving forward, correct?
Exactly. So it's obviously a parabolic move. Sooner or later, it has to flatten. We don't know when or where. But I guess my question is that if we're below the trend line, which is good, what is it that is, what is the determining factor as to how you were able to get below the trend line?
Well,
I was gonna say, I think it's the material selections is one of them that we have in the building. I don't think it's anything too extravagant.
Site costs
Site
are
costs.
often a big factor, whether or not you're dealing with a lot of ledge, some of those kinds of issues.
But site cost is including the square foot for the building cost?
This is project.
Project.
So yes, in this evaluation it is.
So this is project cost related to square foot?
I think it's construction cost. Is it project or construction?
Construction cost, not total
Site-
project cost.
Site works included in the construction cost, just like that MSBA cost cap line says 645, so that includes both the building reimbursement and the site work reimbursement.
One thing we don't know is what, when are they gonna increase again? So, right, there may be some jumps in that green line in the future, we don't know. I mean, anything you're looking at past today, so any of the DAS stuff, there's some uncertainty too, of course.
So if they bump the cap when we're in design development, they're gonna pay more, the cap will go up? For our project, or are we locked into where it is now?
Well, we'll be locked in when we go to the board in December for the project scope and budget.
So if in February they bump it, we don't get the bump?
Is there a time of year when they typically bump it?
End of the year. The problem is that if you even did the math and you waited, it would delay you so far that the escalation would more than likely eat up any additional reimbursement you get from the MSBA. Because right now, I know their boards are full up until mid-next year. So if you even try to play the strategy, you'd be at least 6 months behind.
And the bumps, while again, they've made some significant bumps, those were very conscious and they were after many years of tiny bumps. The bumps are usually not that significant. I mean, it's not nothing, it's money, right? But it's not, they're usually not huge.
Looks like the biggest ones are coming in response to the increase in pandemic construction costs.
Correct. That and that it had been a while since they'd made some real moves. They've been noting this trend and not doing a lot about it, and they realized that they needed to.
All right, obviously, we can discuss the submission package further, but at this point, if somebody's willing to make a motion to put it on the table, then we can open it up and have any further discussion that's necessary.
I make a motion for a ballot vote.
Second. As I indicated at the last meeting, I would accept that motion, and that motion is not debatable. However, the process does allow me to make guiding comments. And this may be perceived as the chair putting weight on the scale, but I think it's important. And my guiding comments are this. Each one of you agreed to serve on this committee representing a particular interest. Many of you are representing various town boards and commissions and committees. And I find it hard to believe that you would accept secret ballot votes for any of the work that you do on those boards and commissions. I think there is a responsibility to the residents of this town to understand who voted in what capacity for this motion. I think that's very important. I'll leave my guiding comments accordingly. As I said, this motion, I will accept it. I have accepted it. It's been seconded. It's not debatable. But we'll move forward with the vote. So all those in favor of the secret ballot? All those opposed? Motion fails.
Gary? I'm the one that brought this up at the last meeting, and you sent that email, which I started responding to and got sidetracked. I kind of agreed with a lot of what you said about that and what you just said now. But along that line, I'm going to make a motion that this be a roll call vote so that everybody does know who voted how. And also, I don't know if I should make it as a separate motion, but based on questions I've had, people wondering, I think we should say if it's a resident or non-resident of the town as part of, not, you don't have to say where you live, but resident of the town. if you'd like
Okay.
to do that as a.
No, you don't need to do it as a separate motion. I think the one motion is fine. I mean, that's a matter of record as well, so I don't have a problem with doing that. And just for everybody's information, you know, just out of my own curiosity, I had done this early on. We've had roster changes over the last 2.5 years, but we currently have 26 voting members, and 17 of those 26 are town residents, 9 are not. So,
And it's not meant as a criticism of
No.
non-residents.
No.
You're on the board because you hold the position.
Correct.
We don't have resident.
right, and we think that position is
So, yeah.
important, right,
It's just, I know I was asked originally,
right.
who's on the committee and do they live in town?
So Art's motion is for a ballot vote and notating resident or non-resident.
Not a ballot vote,
Roll call vote, sorry. Roll call vote. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? One opposed. All right, I'll look to our secretary. Are we prepared for that?
Sorry about that.
No, I think we are prepared for it.
Okay. Yep.
Do the attendance list.
She might need help with the residency.
We have to read the motion again.
Well, are they going to say it themselves?
Oh, yeah, okay. Great, so when Debbie calls out your name, your response is yay, yay or nay, and resident or non-resident.
And to be clear, this is to submit the package.
To submit the package to the MSBA.
Well, for point of order on that, the question I asked a couple of weeks ago was, because I'm fine with submitting the package, but I had asked at that time, do we take a vote as to whether or not we're in favor of the project at this cost? And your answer was that was the default vote. So if we're going to take two, that's cool. But I just want to make sure we all understand what the actual vote is.
Yeah, Dave, my experience in this is that the vote to submit the package to the MSBA implies that you're in agreement with the design package at this budgeted cost, and that whole package moves forward into the MSBA process.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, to David's point,
Yeah.
that way everybody knows exactly what
That's
they're
what the
voting
vote
on.
is for.
Be
Right.
clear.
Okay.
So the vote to submit package, the schematic design package?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we ready?
Mhm.
Art,
Start with me.
you were the first one on the list.
No resident.
David Gagny?
Oh, no resident, no non-resident, jeez, I'm sorry. Well, I'll do, but.
Mark?
Don't.
Yes, non-resident.
Robin?
Yes, resident.
Lincoln?
No, non-resident.
Mary?
Yes, resident.
Cheryl?
No, resident.
Debbie? Yes, resident. Keitha?
Yes, non-resident.
Kathy Grant?
Come back to me.
Sarah
Sorry,
Connolly?
do you want to
Yeah.
abstain, or do you want to, you want to come? Or
No,
you can come.
resident.
Sarah?
Yes, resident.
Marcy?
No, resident.
Donna?
Yes, resident.
David Schmier?
Yes, resident.
Gary?
Yes, resident.
Mark Nobrega?
Yes, non-resident.
Tim?
No, non-resident.
Scott?
Yes, resident.
Jim Henderson?
No, resident.
Jim Holden?
No, non-resident rather.
Mary?
Took me.
Yes.
Yes, non-resident.
Karen?
Yes, non-resident.
And Kathy Marble?
Yes, resident.
Okay. Do I have to read them back?
No, but if you could tally them up, you don't have to tally up the resident, non-resident, but you can tally the total.
I have 8 noes. 8 noes. $14 yeses. No, that's not right.
Did anybody not vote?
Did I not call anyone's name?
Did you vote, Deb?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, we have 23 voting members tonight.
I have 15.
15 yeses.
I have 15 too.
Kathy vote?
Yeah. Do you want to read back the yeses?
I have 15. So 15 yes, 8 no.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there a chance that the yeses, being non-resident, get thrown out?
No, the MSBA has already affirmed our roster. I mean, if there were any challenges to the roster, they would have happened 2.5 years ago. So. Back to
We move
PMA.
on to budget update.
Cash flow is right on track. We saw at the very beginning of the slide, the project's about feasibility is almost 85–90% complete, so no real news here. And then the next slide, I think we have just a schedule update. So we are going to submit this package to the MSBA on the 23rd, which is 2 days from now. And next. So just a reminder that we do have a community forum on 11/6 at 6 p.m. And then we will be discussing the town meeting vote and scheduled for January 26th at some point.
Yeah, so as chair, I have made a formal request to David and Marcy as our administrator reps on the committee, asking the Board of Selectmen to establish a date for the special town meeting. And as I understand it, that will be discussed at the November 5th Board of Selectmen meeting, looking again sometime in late January for that meeting.
Okay. We just wanted to remind everybody that we will be looking for community outreach opportunities. So if anybody has any ideas, such as town or community events, booster clubs, school events, athletic events, we're able to attend these nights and weekends. So we're always willing to put in the work for the community. So let us know if anything pops up or if you're thinking of anything. Feel free to reach out to our team email. And the QR codes here for the website. Continue to spread the word about the website and FAQs on there.
The two other dates, community forums.
Right. Just one other thing I did put out there to this group, and all the parents, I am opening up every Thursday morning from 8 to 8:30 for anyone to stop into my office, talk about the project, or I also scheduled a Google Meet link. So if any questions or concerns, and that's from parents, residents, community members, whomever may have questions or concerns. If I don't have the information, I'll certainly reach out to someone who can get information.
So we were talking about the community forums, and the one for November 6th on a Thursday, that's the one we've looking at scheduling next. We're talking about doing two more, perhaps one on a Saturday on December 6th, and then one sometime in January before the town meeting. I'm not sure if we actually had looked at a date on that. So again, that would probably be another one on a weeknight. So looking at three, they basically would be the same event. We would broadcast them, but just an opportunity to get out and share the information in the schematic design at those three meetings. And then, as Mitch says, we'll try to get out to some other regular community events that occur to try to share the information as well.
Gary, is the November 6th going to be here at the auditorium?
Yes, I think that was the plan, yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know a lot of complaints from people that can't make the forums are like, oh, I have no one to watch my kids. Is there any way to get any of the high school kids to help with that? They, the forums will last an hour, they can hang out here in the...
Yeah, we have NHS kids that usually need hours. We work through our,
something that can alleviate, because that's what they're going to complain, oh, I can't get somebody to watch my kids. I would bring my Leach kids there, because that would be a nightmare, but...
Make sure that they know they can contact Mr. Blum if they do have questions.
Yep. Yeah, no one's watching Leach kids, that's a nightmare.
All right, does anybody have anything else they need to bring to the committee for business? We will not, Art,
Well, I don't- wanted to mention, the no vote wasn't because of the work. It was, I think, HMFH and PMA both did a very good job as far as following what the committee directed to be done. I think the issues I have with that stuff is mostly MSBA schedule, and everything is rushed, but I think both consultants ended up doing a very good job as far as maintaining what the committee was doing, the direction. I mean, my no had nothing to do with that, I just think the scope was too large and it's gonna be too much, but that was decided a while ago. So the rest of it is just you go through and try to do the best you can with the project we have. But both teams, I think, here really worked well and were a good choice.
Thank you, Art. Appreciate that.
Okay, I was just going to mention that we're not going to schedule any other committee meetings at this point. There's no sense in getting together if there's no business. We will communicate to you, obviously, the results of the December MSBA meeting. I do want to, and if you're okay with this process, I do want to be able to post the minutes for tonight's meeting. I will circulate them. I know that's hard for you to ballot on those, but we can still say that they are, whatever the right word is, unofficial.
Just draft.
Not voted on.
Not voted on, whatever the terminology is. But so we will circulate the minutes. We can provide any comments, but we will be posting them as not approved. And whenever we do get together again, that'll be the first order of business to approve the minutes for tonight. But I think it's important to get the minutes out there. The presentation for tonight, we will resend it to you with the one additional slide on the costs. We'll post that. As we've done with our previous two MSBA submissions, we'll post the schematic design submission after it goes through to the MSB as well, so people can pour through 1,347 pages to their heart's content on that.
Gary, two
David.
questions. Well, because I know, my guess is because there was a formal vote tonight, MSBA probably is going to want those minutes. Are they going to be okay with them in draft form? Or as opposed to approved?
They do require us to provide certified meeting minutes that Gary will sign, and once those are complete, everything will be draft form for now. The vote will be included in the draft minutes, and then once we get the formalized minutes, we'll upload them to the MSB.
All right, but they'll be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And the date of the MS, is it December 12th or is it a different date?
That sounds correct off the top of my head.
I thought it was the 13th.
Well, 13th is Saturday.
13th Saturday.
Yeah.
It's the 12th, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you.
So again, as chair, I really want to thank everybody for their participation since June of 2023. This is a tough project. Certainly those of us who went through this building here thought this was a tough one at the time, but the hurdles that we've had to cross so far for the elementary school project are some obviously we didn't anticipate. Yes, the scope is big. Part of that was our creating, part of that was the MSBA creation that we accepted, but we moved forward with that and did the best we could. We'll see what happens as the process moves forward. But as chair, I want to thank every one of you. We always didn't agree, but I think we were civil and respectful about that, and that as chair is something that's important to me to maintain a decorum in how we do our business. So I really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.